Welcome to another episode of season 2 of the aged raised wood chip alternative beds. We still need to nutrient drench this guy with a little bit more soybean meal. Not going to do that today, but maybe on this episode. This is possibly going to be a multi-day episode because we got 2 days of rain and I don't want to go in these shoes in the mud, muck, and water. What I am going to do though right now is to go to this magic dirt field here where the goats used to run. There was like potentially hundreds if not thousands of pounds of hay throughout the years that have went deep in the soil there, and the poop and the goat pee, and had cows here for a short time, and all that food left over has just composted for 10 or so years. And this has the most fungal, mushrooms, fungi growth of any other area in our property. So we're going to take a few scoops around this magic dirt here and kind of seed one of our beds that we can actually access today. Okay, and you can probably see the hay fibers and stuff in there, where it's kind of binded it, clumped it together. See, there's worms and everything all in this. So it's full of, this seeds it with worms, this seeds it with fungal roots and all that good stuff. All right, so this is one of the beds we made not long ago. You can see all the like wheat bran and soybean meal there. Just put that on top. We're gonna do something super stupid, but in my eyes, this might be cool. We're going to put a whole bed of fire ants. Fire ants, I guess, are invasive, but they'll help break down a lot of the material. And the second bed I made is just not ready to plant out yet. There's too much big sticks and carbon on the top, and it's really high. I want it to like compost down or something from insects, fungal growth. I want it to bacteria, earthworms, everything, anything that can break down the plant material in there and help expedite the process. Let's see what happens. I'm gonna have to take this bucket and run because they're probably, see, I already see some running, some moving, I should say. Yep, I'm barehanded here. Here we go. Whoo, look at there. See if I have any on my fingers. Hey, I don't think any of them got on me. Oh, there's one. Oop. All right. Anything we can get to help out the breakdown process of everything. Can you guys see the insects? In a lot of cases, you wouldn't want fire ants to like potentially destroy your plants, but there are no plants here to destroy. They need to break down this material. Help break it down. So the other day we were looking for chestnuts and a variety of things, a pomelo, and that's the main two things to experiment with our raised mycorrhizal beds. So we got 2 chestnuts, so we can experiment in 2 different areas, and we have a pomelo, and we have an apple, which is probably going to go to not a raised bed. Timmerman's Citrus Nursery is where the pomelo came from, and I made a video the other day saying, with the title was something like, it's not all about the avocados, baby. People have done avocados, they claim success or have success, but nobody's talking about peaches, plums, nectarines, citrus, chestnuts, possibly eucalyptus. I don't know. As soon as I have time and it's dry enough to work the back, area, the backyard, we're probably going to plant at least one of the chestnuts. Now it's day 2. Definitely a lot more sunny out here. It was 35 this morning. Check out these ants. Did they move? Nope, they're still here. Check that ant activity out. So I guess as long as they have some level of moisture and this doesn't dry completely out, hopefully they'll stay and spread and eat all of this good stuff and help break it down. So what are we going to call this? Ant bombs? Fire bombings? Fire bombs with ants? Or fire ant bombing? Hey, is that going to be a new trend? How many people are going to have anaphylactic shock because they see this video and they say, okay, I'm going to throw a fire ant bed onto my raised bed. We're in wetland zone 1, and we've been pulling some carbon, you know, from these like dead grasses and weeds and stuff like that for some of our beds. Not the easiest thing to pull and break sometimes, but well, I grabbed a nice few little bundles here to put, I guess, in this unmade bed. Got some Bidenzaba, we got some kind of unknown giant grasses, some dog fennel, but it's still pretty wet here. I was sinking in certain places, so I'm not gonna stay out doing a lot of this today. And here's that bed we were working on. Yeah, and sometimes you gotta use your feet. Compress it down in there, and you know, next it'll be more weeds or leaves or pine needles or something else, maybe mulch, compost, dirt. So this new bed we're working on, and the old bed, or the new bed that we built not long ago over there in this wetlands, what we've officially kind of titled Wetland Zone 2, and the one with the little frame that we kind of built around it, and as well as where we planted citrus and tires for all 3 of our kids' second birthday. So when they're 2 years old, we have like a ritual where we will plant, you know, a tree for them, or try to help get them to help us plant it, I should say. But in our old graphs, old zoning maps that we made, we titled this area Zone 2, and the other area where we have oak trees and one bed so far as Zone 2, Wetland Zone 2. So we really need to re-label them individually. The good news is that there's probably going to be 4 or 5 beds here, probably 4 or 5 beds on the others. They both are going to have citrus because they have these oak leaves that help with HLB or citrus greening. Helps them fight it, I guess. And we'll probably, somewhere in this video, hopefully show you that zone if we can remember. I can remember, I should say. Let me walk over here and see if I can even get to this one bed, because I do want to bring some of the that soil, that magic soil, to any bed that hasn't gotten it yet. Nope, I'm not even close to that bed over there, and I'm already seeing water on the ground, and even here in front of this one. So maybe tomorrow. Found a little bit more of that grass there and some goldenrods. You know, goldenrods, if you have a field of them or a giant cluster somewhere, you know, when they start turning brown and dying off, they make an amazing like carbon here for raised beds. We used a lot of them on raised bed 2, possibly 1, I can't remember. But you know, if the timing is right, you know, just cut them off, put them, you know, on the bed. This is one of my old compost beds. We did cardboard leaves, you know, green materials when we had them, and yada yada. But we are going to have to sift through all of the plastic and everything that, you know, didn't break down with the cardboard. But this is going to be something that we're going to, you know, this is basically should be already a mycorrhizal bed. It was filled to the top several times. It went down. Well, I guess we'll see what it looks like when we pull this frame off here. As you can see, not all the cardboard's broken down. A lot of it might have like a really thin film of plastic or something on it. But check this out. Probably between 10 and 12 inches depending on where it's at. And it's a probably 8 to 10 foot round kind of oval shape. So now we're going to have to clean this guy up, and that's a paper mulberry that invaded, so we need to kill that guy off. This here is beautyberries. As you can see, we've already cleaned out a bunch of plastic and stuff out of here. There's a lot more, but I think we need to focus on getting this paper mulberry out, and then I think we can push it over, pull the roots out, and then clean up the middle area so we can plant the tree in the middle. If it's too hard to dig there, we'll have to add some more materials and then clean up over time the area around it, and then plant other things around that. But you see why you don't want to just throw your cardboard in like a burn pile. You really have to clean it and know what's in it. Got her down, but those roots are really hanging on tight there. So we kind of scratched around the middle section here, and there's still a few bits and pieces we need to get in there for hands and pull out. But we're going to plant our main plant right there in the middle, pull the dirt back over it, pick through it again, and make sure we get as much of the plastic and stuff out. So this is a lot of work if you want to compost cardboard. And you know, this area has a lot of sticks from camphor, red maple, sweet gums, and it's kind of, you know, even though we filled it with leaves at least twice all the way to the top of the pool, the frame, it's constantly having sweet gum leaves, camphor leaves, sweet gum limbs, red maple leaves and limbs fall into here. So it's been auto feeding itself, but we really haven't put it to good use. So let's just clean it out and be done with it, plant it out and see what happens. So what would you call this type of bed? We call the ones that are already planted out, where we build the bed around it, post mycorrhizal. What would we call this? Pre-made mycorrhizal bed? You know, unintentional mycorrhizal bed, because just like our kind of hybrid raised bed, hugelkultur beds, they kind of have, you know, they kind of do the same thing, you know, because leaves, you know, sticks, twigs, trees, everything, you know, hosts different fungi on it, and you're kind of doing the same thing. You're composting a lot of carbon, and you know, you have all these different, like I said, fungal activities, you know, with different fungi, and you know, you might be doing this without even knowing that you're building a mycorrhizal bed, or that you already have one. Look at our bed here, the kind of like hybrid between a raised and hugelkultur bed. This is doing the same thing, you know. So how I started this bed was I had no frame, just trees and tree limbs and leaves and all, just kind of built, you know. And then I framed it in, then I put potting soil and everything like that in it, and topped it with leaves and more sticks and yada yada. And of course, over time, and it didn't take long, the first year or two, some of these little individual beds like sunk down to maybe like 4-6 inches. So I mean, you can see they really need to replenish, because they were pretty much to the top, if not overflowing, when we built them. And I'm still putting sticks and twigs over time in them. As you can see, they're still, you know, that's still about 18 inches or 22 inches too low in some areas here. We started on this one with burying the carbon material, but like I said, over time, instead of having to haul out like tons and tons of freaking dirt and compost and stuff, or just topping it with more carbon and leaves. So there is a chestnut. When I did the video saying it's not all about the avocados, baby, this is what we mean. So we're gonna plant this here, and we remember we did loquats, pineapple, avocado in the first bed. Now we're gonna do chestnut in this one. All right, so there it is, and chestnut. We're gonna put some water on it, and maybe put some leaves as mulch around it, and that'll be it. Rainwater, baby. It's all about the rainwater. Got the old rake here, and let's get some leaves to mulch it. Got a nice pile of leaves just feet from that bed. That took all of like 5 seconds to rake that pile. So there she is, planted and ready to go. So what are our plans? Are we gonna nutrient drench it right now? No, the chestnuts are still dormant. We just had a frost this morning. We could have frosts or freezes, you know, for another month maybe, or potentially into March. But we could always go on the outer perimeter of the bed and do some nutrient drenches kind of away from the root system of that, or maybe add some really low green, low nitrogen level nutrients, maybe like soybean meal, wheat bran meal, or something like that. but nothing strong until we get, you know, some when it breaks dormancy and starts budding out. Again, there's a lot of work left to pick through all the crap, you know, the garbage. But yeah, we'll see if it pays off in the end and is worth it. So this is the diagram I made last year with the different zones. So the wetland zone 2 here and here. This is the south side, west, north, east. Wetland zone 1 is this whole area here. So right here is one area where we have 1 bed, and over here we got basically 3 beds. And where we've just planted that chestnut tree, it's right around here. There are a few areas where this brown, this heavy shaded areas, you know, that they're not really zoned out. I think this area specifically has a super ton of shade. It's got oak trees as well, so this would be a good place possibly to do a couple citrus trees, but I don't know yet. We already have a citrus tree somewhere around here that's really old, and it's on its way out. The bark is just peeling off. Its production has gotten slow over time, and a lot of the fruit are super small.